we're recording. And then I can share my screen. There we go. We'll get there. All right, we're here, we're recording. So today we are going to talk about the Form 1099, specifically Form 1099 NEC. And so we're going to talk about what is this new form, who should be receiving this 1099 NEC, the deadline and penalties, and the payment method matters, because this is an area I save it for last, because this is an area where I think that a lot of us have confusions about, and so I think it's good stuff. So you have to stay for the whole thing. And then obviously we have a question and answer, but you can also stop me anytime during the meeting to ask me questions. I am fine with that. Okay, so let's see here. I can't seem to, well, somehow, got it. Okay, we are going to talk about the 1099 NEC. NEC basically just stands for non-employee compensation. And anything that you pay to sole proprietor, people that are working for you but are not paid on a W-2s, they should be on here. We'll talk about who should be receiving it in just a little bit. But basically, Form 1099 NEC is just replacing, it's not really replacing 1099 miscellaneous. That form still exists and is still being used for other purposes. They just specifically single out this one categories and create a new form for it, because the IRS is really want to track down on the independent contractors. California already did that last year, where they create all these crazy new law where more and more people should be qualified to be, must be reported on the 1099. So 1099 miscellaneous still in existence, but if you're paying any type of compensation that is not reported on a W-2, you should be using Form 1099 NEC, non-employees compensation form. And this is what it looks like. Who should receive Form 1099 NEC? So anybody that you make payment to that you pay at least $600 or more, an unincorporated person or vendor. So what do we mean by unincorporated person? People who are not a corporation. So when you hire SmartBean to do your bookkeeping, if SmartBean isn't a SmartBean incorporating, not an S Corp, if you would just hire Lisa Nguyen to do the books for you, and you pay me $600 or more, you need to give me a 1099, because I'm an incorporated person. So any sole proprietor that you do business with, any sole proprietor, vendors, people, even LLCs. You got to be really careful about people who said I'm an LLC. LLC, depending on how they file their taxes, right? So LLC could file as a corporation, or if they file as a single member or partnership, they too need to receive a 1099 NEC. So I know we have a few CPA on our call today. If anything I say you disagree with, please speak up so that we all can learn as well. But let me define once again: unincorporated person are sole proprietor, LLC owners who file as a single member LLC or partnership. The only people that you pay to that you don't have to give a 1099 NEC to is if they are a corporation. So whether they're a C Corp or an S Corp, or if they're an LLC file as a S Corp, those people you do not need to give a 1099 to. So like SmartBean Inc. don't need to give to, okay? and you're paying them using cash, check, or bank transfer. So when I bring this up, the first two criteria, you're like, okay, great, that's a lot of people I'm gonna have to give 1099 to. But the third criteria is kind of limited a little bit in that if you pay them using cash, if you pay them with checks or bank transfer. So if you pay them using directly from any method from your bank account, like cash, writing a check to them, or transfer via ACH, you have to give them a 1099. We're going to go more into the payment methods and how it affects who you give the 1099 to very soon. So do we have any question yet right now? Good. Or not good. I don't know. Is everybody paying attention? So 3 is, we'll talk about the due date and penalties, right? So the due date to issue the 1099 file, so issues meaning everybody that you're supposed to give a 1099 to should receive it, or at least postmark the Form 1099 to them by January 31st. So it's the same deadline as if you were giving somebody a W-2. So it's January 31st, 2021. But the filing part of it, which you don't need to worry about if you hire a company, if you hire SmartBean to do it. If we file electronically, we have an extra month. So the good thing about that is there is a little bit of room for corrections, you know, before you actually the employer actually file it to the IRS. But just pretend you didn't hear that. Everything is due to give out to the independent contractors by January 31st. If you would like SmartBean to help you with filing the 1099s, we need to have all the information, meaning the W-9 information, by January 20th, because that will give us at least, 10 days to, tabulate all the information, put it in the system and file it for you. And also, if the independent contractors have the email address, if you provide us with that information, they will get a link to be able to log in and view their 1099s and print it out themselves. And that is, that's an option that I highly recommend, because people tend to receive mail and then forget about it. And then at the time when they go and file their taxes, what do? They call you and say, where's my 1099s, right? So if you have this electronic link, you can just send the link to them again and save yourself a lot of time. But from a compliance standpoint, not only that they would receive the link for an electronic copy, everybody, whether they give an email address or not, will also receive the hard copy of the 1099s as well when we file that for you. So we also print and deliver. And when I say we're doing this via Intuit QuickBooks. So this is something that we are only offering to our clients because we think some of you can really use the help. It's not our favorite thing to do. It's a lot of work, but at least we have Intuit software that can assist us to do that. So it is there. If you need our help, do it. But my first recommendation would be to go through your payroll company to do that if they already have some of the information. But we're here to help. So if you need us, we're here to help you with that. In terms of penalties, 1099 penalties is actually really high. And I remember this in my payroll days when we used to have the payroll company, it's penalized heavily and based on how late you are, right? So the penalties for company that you see here are for companies that are you guys, my client base, that have, I believe, revenue under $100 million. So we're almost there, but we're not yet over $100 million. As some of you I know us, just right at around 99 million, right? I hope so. I love seeing clients grow their business. So in any case, if we go back to this, we can see that if you file these 1099 form late, it is the IRS have the right to charge you $50 per return or statements that you were late on, with a maximum of $194,000, $195,000 maximum. So get on this, don't be late. And then the later you get, like the later you get is 31 day late. So let's say you file it on February 1st or 2nd, the penalties go up to $110 per return. That's per 1099, per independent contractors. Okay, so again, contact your payroll company, contact SmartBean, get this done. This should be a priority. I actually wanted to do this presentation last week, like the first week of January, to get it fresh on everybody's mind and put a focus on it. But you know, the PPP round 2 kind of took precedence over this. So right now, this is the week. If you have already asked us to help you with the PPP, don't even think about it. We're working on it for you. If you work with a banker, right now is the time to actually look at the 1099s and make sure you get information together so that you are not late, so that you don't have to pay these penalties. So any questions so far?
Yes, I have a question, Lisa.
Sure.
So I see that it says, hi, after August 1st or not at all, and then the following category is intentional disregard.
Mm-hmm.
How is it differentiated when it's like not at all? How do they know that it's intentional disregard, or like?
Oh, sorry. I think that if somebody have filed 1099s, like this is absolutely my personal opinion. If somebody had filed a Form 1099 in the past, and then they don't file it this year, obviously they know about the requirements, right? And they just didn't file it. That's intentional. That would be how I see it. But I would think this is something that an IRS agent would figure it out. Not at all, just mean that maybe this is, you know, your first, maybe the first year you in business and you're not familiar, you don't know, you know, you don't have a good bookkeeper yet. You just try to make money and stay alive, keep your business alive. Then maybe they can give some, you know, some
leniency.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you know what? With this though, you know, the penalties is here. It's written. This is I took this directly from the IRS website. This is when you get a CPA involved. Okay, because a CPA that can represent you. And we have, you know, Mel here, we have Joe here. I don't know if there's anybody else that come on later that I don't see, but get a CPA involved. Whenever you get a letter from the IRS or the state that's asking you for money, there is absolutely, do not get on there and try to negotiate with them on your own, because there are things that, because we're in the profession, that they're able to negotiate with the IRS and the state so much better than you can, and just pay the money and save the headache and do it right. For example, you know, if you get any type of tax penalties from payroll, the EDV love to self-assess your business on how much you owe for payroll taxes if you don't file your taxes. So one thing they love to do is, if let's say you have payroll for 3 years in a row, and then, or even 1 year, and then the following year you just fire all your employees and you are now no longer have payroll. Well, you have to let them know that you don't have any payroll. You have to file a zero return and tell them you don't have any more employees. Or you have to file 0 on all the returns. If you don't file the returns, they will look at your past tax liabilities and just do an assessment on your account, and then they'll send you a letter and say, hey, you owe these taxes. And if you ignore those letters, they will freeze your account. They literally will go to your bank account, whatever the term is, and take money directly from your checking account. Like, they have the right to do that. Really scary. So whenever you see a letter from them, don't disregard it. Take a look at it, send it to your CPA. Send it to us, and most likely we say, hey, this is something that you might need the CPA. If it's something easy, we'll let you know about it, but that's not our business, right? The CPA has the authority and the experience to help you with that. I know I diverged there for a little bit, but it's important to not ignore those notices. Payment method matters. So I saved the best for last because I think this is where we have a lot of questions. So which column? So on one side, we have, these are the people that if you pay them using these methods, you have to issue them a 1099. And on the other side is those people that you don't. So the easiest way to remember is if you pay somebody a fee to make that payment, chances are you don't have to produce a 1099. All right, so for example, if you use a credit card, the credit card company charges fees to the processors, right? So there's a fee in order to process that payment. PayPal Business also charges fees to process that payment. Fiverr or Fever, I'm not sure what's the, how to say it right, but that is a popular site that people go there, I believe, to hire contractors or freelancers, any payment settlement entity type. So I know that with the technologies, there's a lot of fintech company out there that offer all type of creative way so you can pay. Just think of it in terms of if they are a payment settlement entities that somebody has to pay them a fee to be able to process that payment, then most likely they are, you don't have to issue a 1099 if you use that method. It's always good to double check with them, right? They usually, by law, they have to kind of say it somewhere on their website, how they handle the 1099. And then, so on the left-hand side, we have those that you have to issue 1099 to. And so the people that you pay with checks, of course, with cash, with Zelle. So a lot of Zelle is like in connection with a lot of the banks. It doesn't cost you anything, right? To use Zelle to pay pay to people. Those people need to receive a 1099 if they are not a corporation, okay? PayPal friends and family. So we have PayPal Business where you have to pay a fee, a percentage to use the payment method. But if you use PayPal friends and family, it's free, right? And because it's free, you have to issue a 1099 to those people because PayPal assume that these are non-business related. They're your friends and family. So you're not doing business with them and you're not, so the transaction wasn't a business related transaction. And I should also note this is only applied for services, right? Payment that you pay to someone for service, not for products. If you are paying somebody, let's say using Zelle and you pay them to purchase something, that I don't know how that happened. I don't know if company can even use Zelle for process such payment. But if for whatever reason you pay it to purchase a product, you don't have to produce a 1099, but you do need to pay sales tax on it, right? So it's just the government gets your tax money one way or another. This is something new that I know my team have asked me, a company called Payoneer. And if you go to their website, literally the people they put on there as a CEO or a founder, they literally look like they're teenagers. So, I mean, it's just I don't know if I'm getting older and older or they're just getting younger and younger. But this is apparently is a new site that a lot of people are using to send payments. And again, an international payment. So if you hire somebody like in the Philippines, for example, you can pay them using Payoneer. On their system, they have a way to capture the W-9 information for you so that you can file. But they specifically say from the last material that I got released from them, they say they do not process the 1099 and that you hit to do it. You're responsible to do it yourself. Venmo, quote, right? Venmo is a personally used, no fees. You have to produce 1099. Basically any cash app that you have out there. So I think, do we have any questions right now? I am surprised we don't have any questions.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was looking for the mute button. We had a question a couple of slides back. What if someone were to file the wrong form, like a 1099 miscellaneous?
Someone we know on this call today was so proactive.
I guess there's such a thing as too proactive.
I'm too proactive. I told you, I'm like, oh, I should have not do this webinar earlier. You beat me to it. So I know that because, you know, this new 2020 form 1099 NEC is just this year is when you have to start using it. So in the past, we used 1099 miscellaneous to report these income. So if you are one of those people that was proactive and already filed 1099 miscellaneous, Mel actually did the research for us and said that all we got to do is the best way I can think of it is, John, use the same form that you had used to file, right? The 1099 miscellaneous. Oh, you can't use, oh yeah, the same form. And then on there, just write out the numbers and put 0 in it, and then put corrections. So just so the best, I know on there, let me go back and show the form real quick. 1099 miscellaneous look exactly pretty much the same thing, except it's say miscellaneous. That would be the form that you file that's incorrect if it's for these type of compensation. I know they have a void button here, but I agree with Mel that from what I have researched, they prefer that you put in corrected, file a corrected returns rather than a void returns. So what you need to do is the same form that you file, you file, or at least the same information. You put all the information in here, but what you need to do is all the boxes where it says the dollar amount, you put that as 0. Okay, so you just 0 out what you have already filed, whatever the amount is. Now the correct amount for those fields are 0, and then you file this form. And so I don't know, John, how you did it, but
I went to e-file for tax, I think it's called, and I filed it online. So I'll just go back, file a corrected one with a bunch of zeros, and then go and do the NEC form correctly.
There you go.
So
yes,
cool.
Just to be clear, Lisa, John was asking for a friend. This is not something
yeah.
he's asking for a friend.
Yeah, because you know, John doesn't want to stay up late at night to file form 1099s and then find out that he has to redo it.
Yeah, I'll own up. I tend to do things very quickly because I get busy and then I forget, and then the deadline's passed or something. But I'm sure I'm not going to be the first nor the last person that made that mistake. So
I don't know, John, you're pretty special.
Lisa, we have one more. We're just confirming that ACH does require 1099 NEC.
Yes, ma'am. If it is, right, if the people you're paying to is an unincorporated person, so the sole proprietor, person that is not a corporation, unincorporated, yes.
And then what about international contractors?
Yes, so international contractor, yes, you do too. And that's something we don't do, guys. I know we can, Canada, if you have somebody in Canada, the best, or you know, I know the global world is just so big now, especially if you use Payoneer. I am wondering if on that platform where you hire the contractors from overseas, if that would be a good place to find out how they expect us to file those forms, because every country is a little different. All we're talking about right now is what the IRS are require of you as a U.S. corporation. So in terms of other country, I don't know how they track contractors' payment and how they tax people. So I don't assume to know that. I have not done research on that.
Okay. And then lastly, on this slide, Joe Croft just wanted to point out that if PayPal finds out that you've been using your friends and family for business use, they reserve the right to kick you off all PayPal services permanently. So that's good to know. Yep,
that's good to know, everybody. Also, I'm doing this as a public service for my fellow beans at SmartBean, is that if you have Venmo or PayPal account and you're using that for business, try to maintain a zero balance on these accounts, meaning whenever you make a payment, just have it directly pulled from your checking or credit card account that is connected to that PayPal or Venmo account. And then whenever you receive payment, transfer the whole amount into the business bank account that you are connected with the PayPal or Venmo account. Try very hard, please, not to use Venmo or PayPal like a bank, right? Don't keep the balance on there. It makes reconciliation so much harder. And also, a lot of times they don't give enough information on there. Like, you know, somebody pay you with a happy face. Well, what are we supposed to know what that is? And if happy face get paid, I should get a lot of money. So, yeah, so there's just a reminder on that. Is there any other questions?
No.
Okay.
I have a question, if I could ask real quick.
Sure.
So I just want to confirm, because I feel like I'm leaving something out. If all of my contractors this year were paid via credit card, you're saying there's really nothing much for me to do as far, I'm so used to doing that every year. And you're saying if they're paid by credit card, there's no need to file a 1099 form at all.
If they are a corporation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they're an individual and I paid them by credit card, I still need to fill out this 1099 NEC.
Wait, so let's see. If they are a,
No,
Sorry,
that'll get
no,
picked
you
up on
don't. You don't.
1099K.
You don't have to do anything.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
no worries.
Mel, are you asking? Yeah. So if you pay them via 1099, you don't have to give them a credit card. You don't have to give them a 1099 at all, whether they are a sole proprietor or not, because
okay.
The credit card company is required by the IRS to file the 1099-K. Someone said that to them if they receive $20,000 or more from the credit card. So.
Okay. So if I pay them direct check, though, I still need to fill out the 1099. It's the credit cards that are basically obsolete at this point for this year.
It has been, yeah. Okay. So if the credit, if you pay somebody consistently, so if you pay somebody, this is how I see it when I try to file the 1099 for clients on Intuit, is let's see, you pay, Lisa Nguyen, $10,000 and $5,000 you pay in credit card and the other $5,000 you pay in checks. The QuickBooks actually kick out a 1099 for $5,000 because that was paying checks. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Lisa, also, I'm sorry if there's background noise, you guys, but I sent over just a quick screenshot to you what Intuit looks like when I'm trying to move through this process. And there is a box at the bottom that says IRS requirement, don't include any amounts you pay through a payment card. So that would be the point where, say you have a contractor where you pay some through credit card, some through check, that would be the box where you would indicate the amount that was paid via check. So they're just trying to designate that. I'm assuming that kind of tripped me up when I was looking to kind of file through Intuit, was that bottom box. So it's just saying, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they were referring to payment settlement entity. Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't see the screenshot. If you want me to actually give you an answer in writing, just email me. I can really look at it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Awesome. We don't even have to do Q&A. So I hope this has been helpful for everybody. This is our last share and learn for January. So I'm trying to do 2 every month. And if you have any topics that you think will be helpful for us to discuss, please feel free to email it to me. I'm just thinking like in February is when maybe people are looking at, now that they didn't, stay through with their resolutions, what's next? And maybe it's a marketing plan, maybe it's talking about investment or coaching, or something like that. So, or any other topics, just let me know. I will greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us today. I did record this. I'm going to send it to you guys and those who registered but couldn't attend today. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.